Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Block 9 Podcast Live Lounge.
Oh, hello, evening, everybody. Let's get that chat on display because that seemed to go down really well last time. Gavin, Carl, Andy, evening, fellas. How are we doing? Gavin, say a quick hello.
Quick hello.
There you go, Carl.
Hello, mate. You all right?
And Andy, how are we doing?
Quick hello. Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. Thank you.
Excellent. So, everybody, have we all calmed down now? I mean, the live lounge is all about a nice, more relaxed, chilled session. We were a bit feisty, I think, after the match on Saturday, and rightly so in some regards. But as I said myself, I felt there was a lot of positives to take out of it, and it'll be interesting. Please put your comments in the chat to see how you sort of feel now you've had a lot of time to digest it. But yeah, we're going to take you through an element of that tonight. So what have we got for you? So we're going to go through the press conference news that came out today. So we'll touch upon that. We've also got the Barnsley post-match digest. So we're going to touch upon a little bit on that, and Gavin's going to show you a new little tool of his that we hope to bring you more of. Obviously, Bolton, a bit of analysis on their Stockport game and also what we can expect going into the game on Saturday. The predicted lineups, of course, score predictions from all of us. And also then we're going to come on to sort of pros and cons of signing a player. What is causing them to not really want to commit. As we all know, Dale Taylor was announced by Blackpool today. So best of luck to him. We move on, as they say. And also then, if we get the time, I said about it on Saturday, we'll bring it into the session. We will pick up on some of the bits on the fans forum. But we'll see where we get to tonight. But welcome everybody that's joined us. We got a few comments in already. Zoo Corner, evening to you, Gary Parker, also Ninja Matt and Andy Prowse, who, as he has said, has got his new Block 9 mug. I have got a picture of him with that mug. So, Andy, if you're happy for me to share it later, I will do. But
is it a Grumpy Loyal mug, though, Mike?
Yeah, he doesn't want one. Sorry, mate. He was like, who's the Grumpy Loyal? I said, he's the other guy that is on the show.
Andy Price, you're fired.
So let me just quickly switch. Let's just switch because there's only four of us. We were going to have Finley in tonight, folks, but he had some issues with his connection. So Finley is the guy that runs, the young lad, I should say, that runs the PAFC News Hub that I now do the AI digest with each week. And also we've put his link to his Substack on our website as well. I'll just show you quickly, actually. This is his Substack on there. So he is a young aspiring sports journalist, a bit like Herbie, who you've seen on the show on Saturday. So yeah, it's great to bring more people in that Argyle community to the platform that we've got. So if anybody else feels that they can contribute in some other ways, then just give us a shout and we'll look at it. So, but Gavin, yeah, it's been a few days now, hasn't it, since that game on Saturday? You've had time to reflect. We've both been flat out with our jobs again, as usual. So, but where are you feeling in a nutshell before we get into the analysis on that post-match?
I'm quite relaxed, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the medication I've just taken. I'm not sure, but no, I'm quite relaxed about the whole thing, including the transfer window. It's a long season. Someone reminded me the week actually on Twitter about the year we won it with Warnock. We lost the first six, and I thought, you know what, we did. That was all right, wasn't it? We did all right that year. So. Carl, I've just seen your new top, your change of shirt, mate. That's a banging away shirt.
That is a banging one. Although I've put on so much weight, it's so tight. So if
that's how the players wear it now, mate.
Pitched in a minute. That's why.
Just don't
that's how
stand
the players
up.
wear it now. So no, I'm to answer your question, Mike. I'm quite relaxed about the world. I think we've got a nucleus of a decent squad. We do need three new players. I think they'll come in some way, shape, or form. We had three brain farts on Saturday. Having looked at some of the stuff on Argyle Analysis, it sort of resonated with what I was thinking after the game. So I'm quite happy with the world, really, which is really bad. And Dave Mortar's joined us. So how can you not be any happier?
Dave.
Where's Pleggy?
Where's Des? And yeah,
Who's Des, by the way? Have I missed a joke there? Sorry.
Well, no, I don't know. You don't know what to expect. With
is that Des Lynham? If it is, then Andy needs to shave that bottom part of his beard off.
I think David's still trying to find Bundu too. So Carl.
Des, sorry, the manager that we didn't hire. Sorry, Buckingham. That is. I've just realized.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
He's locked in the interview room still. He's not allowed out.
So Carl, how yourself? Same question. How are you feeling?
A lot more relaxed than I was probably Saturday evening. I still believe we played really good stuff. Just like Gavin said, 3 brain farts, 3 lack of concentration moments at the back cost us the game. So I thought attacking wise and general gameplay was actually quite decent. Obviously, we're lacking in the key areas. Really love Caleb Watson, that false 9, but hopefully with Pebble back, we should see him reverted back to his natural position. So obviously I'm going to Bolton. It's going to be a long old day, long old drive, and I hope our journey back will be worthwhile.
Yeah, you're going to bring us back the points and some guys, I feel. Andy, you were sort of a bit, as I said on Saturday, fired up at the game, as a lot of people were. Obviously, we discussed it a bit. Obviously, in the post-match, you sort of calmed down a bit. Then I think, are you more sort of settled that actually, yeah, it is 3 brain farts, to coin Gavin's point there, and there is some positives to take.
Yeah. The only thing for me is that I didn't have my pre-match hug with Mr. Paul Sweet, who's in the comment section there. My buddy Sweeters, I normally saw him go and say hi to him. If I don't say hi to him, I normally have a bad game, so that's my excuse anyway. But yeah, the game was a bit. It was one of those, wasn't it? A couple of misfires, lack of communication. But I think we'll be all right. I think once we get Pepple back in there and get some, continuity with him and the front men and revert, Watts back to the number 10 role, then we'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll come to the news piece from the press on that in a second. So can someone explain this one? So Zoo Corner, I know I'm bringing up these comments, obviously when they're old, but you can now see the comments thread as it goes live. Calm, I most definitely am not calm. We have been fined for the incident in the game, and the ref gets to ref again. He should be sacked. Someone enlighten me on that.
That's the WWE reference in the box.
Yeah.
Of
Weirdo,
yes.
losing his mind, wrestling their centre half who got carded, and then of course when he handled the ball in their box, which was then given a free kick outside the box, he got red carded. But I think it was for the 15-man pile up.
Yeah.
To use a rugby term, I'll get it in nice and early, Matt. The 99 call that was done with Weirdo and their centre half. So I think that's what he's referring to there. I think both clubs are either going to get fined or already been fined.
Yeah,
so is that our January budget gone now then?
Yeah. Now, Carl, play it fair, Carl.
That is fair.
So what that does mean is there'll be no changing of club badges on the buns that go to the away end. They'll just say Barnsley now for the season on one run.
Just lace them with arsenic. That's what you got to do. Or is that not right?
So I've just switched to our infamous presentation decks, and I just need to get that logo off my face. There we go. So not that you really want to stare at that. As you can see, I've moved us, those that are not new, to the top for a change, which means at least when I'm trying to look at the guys, it looks like I'm looking at the camera at the same time. So evening, everybody. Those that are new to join us, we've got just shy over 400 in the live tonight. Not that anybody's trying to flex any sort of audience numbers at all, but it's good that we've got you in tonight. For those of you that are new watching for the first time, obviously, yes, we're the Block 9 podcast. We've been going just for over a season now. And what we like to do on the Thursday night show is sort of bring a bit more of a relaxed and analytical approach, but try not to make you fall asleep. We obviously do a slide deck each time for those that are watching, as you are now, for the podcast viewers that are listeners that are listening post, obviously don't get to see. So we'll take you through what we're going to talk about, so we try and keep some context to it. By all means, guys, if you can on your platforms, retweet it and give us a follow and like and subscribe and all that jazz if you haven't already. So there we go. Yes, it's Bolton versus Plymouth this weekend. So news update. So the press conference. Yes, Ian, exactly that in the comments there. So obviously it was an interesting one, and you can see there from the sort of 5 outtakes that I've pulled together in this slide. The big one that stands out here is the striker search update. So Tom cleverly said, we've got a significant bid in place for one. It's progressing slowly, but I'm confident that the shirt will be filled. It's someone that will be worth the wait, and we will get the club and city excited. Now, I'll come straight to the guys on this point, because there's one thing in terms of alluding to that and saying, yes, we've got another option on the table, because obviously Dale Taylor's now at Blackpool. But to sort of say that it's a really, really promising prospect that will be worth the wait, when we know that these things are falling through all too often, I just think, oh God, should you have really led that with too much detail on that and just said, we've got options in. Kyle, I'm going to come to you on this one. I mean, it's good news and it is exciting if that is the case. And I've always wanted and said before, I hope the club can just pull something out of the hat that just makes everybody go, wow, because we would love that, wouldn't we?
Just to start off, apparently I'm getting 1K views on TikTok, so that was worth
nice
putting that on there. I don't know where that's come from.
Views, you little celebrity, you.
There we go.
Anyway,
welcome to the TikTok. So we are streaming via Kyle's account to TikTok as well.
I'm just a bit not concerned, but I'm just worried that if we go into the last week and this does fall through, like all our other previous targets, we're going to be in the whole Bundu situation of then panic buying to get a striker in, which I hope is not the case. So I'm presuming Cleverly feels confident enough in what he said today in the press conference regarding the striker, and putting it out there that, with the club will be excited and the city will be excited if we bring this striker in. So he must be, highly confident of getting him in to say that. So it sounds promising. I hope it pulls off, because we don't want to be in a situation of panic buying late into the window. It kind of says to me like the striker we're after is not a League One or League Two striker. It's more of a Championship or ex-Premier League striker, because they haven't kicked the season off yet. So they might be trying to wait and finalise their squads before they let people go themselves, or potentially trying to sign, replacement strikers before they let someone go. So it sounds promising. I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet. Obviously, a centre-back, hopefully in before Saturday, which sounds like it's almost done. And then he did allude to another centre midfielder, which obviously now I do agree with Gavin. We do need another centre mid. So I think if those three positions are covered, we should be okay going forward, hopefully.
Yeah, I think Andy, coming to you, Paul, good friend, is saying no, he should have kept his gob shut. Remember Simon Hallett at St Dennis and the investment. I just think the confidence has got to be really high, but the fact that it's in early stages, it's a bit like and Steve said as well, too much information from Clev. I mean, what's your views on it, Andy?
Yeah, I think Clev's is got the iron in the fire, isn't he? I have heard a name actually, which I could share with you here. It's for all the bedwetters out there. It's called Rusty Bed Springs, but no, seriously, it's he's got his irons in the fire. Okay, we've just got to trust in the process and trust in what he's trying to do and who he's trying to bring in, without sort of getting that leaked out there. Because if it's leaked out there, it's all over X, it's all over wherever, and all of a sudden other teams pick up and they're after this striker. Let's go and pinch it off them. That seems to be the sort of the theme at the moment, doesn't it? We're going for someone, and all of a sudden we get gazumped, if you like. So. Keeping it close to his chest, Mr. Sweet, I think he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's exciting. I hope something comes off for sure. As Carl alluded to, you can see it in the bottom right for those that are watching. Defensive reinforcements. There's a very strong chance we will have that centre back on loan for this weekend. He's got experience, and we're hoping that it comes off in the next 24 hours. We were saying just before we went live that he could well be doing some training with the squads on the journey up, or when they stop off. So let's see what happens there. Obviously, in other team news and injuries, Gavin, there's some positives here, but also, and if I just actually quickly jump to it, obviously we got to give that shout out to Julio Pleguezuelo. He has had his surgery now. There he is with his the photograph that he put on Instagram.
How many bunches of grapes did you take up earlier, Mike, when you went to see him?
Yeah.
Well, with the roses, I had to put it all on the credit card, but it's fine. It's fine. So, But yeah, that's a shame. We don't know how long he will be out, but it's not ideal, is it, with the defence? But of course, not just from me being Plaguey's #1 fan, everybody in the chat here and every Argyle fan and that wish him a speedy recovery. But yeah, so we got Ben Pepple is confident now, is going to be available for selection. Gavin, Caleb Roberts is also back. Edwards, though, has got a hamstring, so he's going to miss a couple of weeks. That age creeping up on him. And Freddie Azaka is also going to be out for a period as well.
Yeah, it's kind of tag team at the minute. It seems like some kind of WWE event all round, in and out, tag team, off you go. I'm injured, you're back in. It's a real shame for Edwards. I saw some comments earlier on Twitter that he might retire halfway through the season. He is picking up some good injuries or bad injuries, whichever way you look at it, on a regular basis. That hamstring looks like it's a bit of a problem. If so, surely we need to be strengthening our fullback and wing-back position now, to be honest. So that's a bit of a worry. Freddie, I think this is his first injury, isn't it? I can't remember Freddie being injured before.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, that'll be look a bit longer. We're going to miss Plaguezalo. I think that's why it looks like a certain centre half from Celtic might be on his way down, if that's the inclination from earlier in the week, which is good. I don't know. The only worry is I think there's been 8 injuries since the beginning of pre-season, including Conor Hazard, which was obviously done on a international duty. But that's a lot. I think that's a lot. I think that was as many injuries as we had between start of the season and Christmas last year. So I know he said he's looking into it, but that's not brilliant, having that amount of injuries early. So with a small squad, it's going to be challenging. If you have a really bad one like we had last year, we probably won't be able to fill the bench of 7. So we are where we are. I think it's worrying. That's the only thing I can say on it, really.
This is why it's good actually having the comment overlay on for those that are listening post. Yeah, it's a shame, but I'll sort of read a couple of these out recently. So Ninja Matt saying, did Mike feed him said grapes, with a comment about Julio. Zoo Corner saying I feel it'll be Edwards' last season, and also Zoo saying no, Mike was too busy rustling through his dirty boxes and the M&S bag next to him to feed him the grapes. Don't worry, Zoo, I've got you a pair too, and I'll send them to you in the post. Stevie Vaughan again, he's out of contract at the end of the season. I think personally this will be Joe's last season, and as we've all said, I say all, most of us agree, it'd be great to see him form the back of the coaching staff as well. So the other comments that Tom made, obviously in reference to the Bolton challenge, the first half versus Stockport, they were very good. He was at the game, for those that don't know. Some excellent players. It will be a tough test for us. The opening day will make both sides grit their teeth more. So referring to the fact that we obviously both lost. They lost 2-0, a goal in each half. So they'll be keen at home. I think we'll come on to that a bit more in a second, but I think that will just open up the game and give us opportunities. Transfer philosophy in terms of final point from the conference. The last 10 days, we've had a few geographical knockbacks. That is what it is. We want people who are invested. You can create a siege mentality. The people that are rolling their sleeves up to be part of this, those are the ones we need. And so we have got a slide at the end where we just threw together a bit of pros and cons of why we're not necessarily getting certain players, and I'm sure that will give some great comments a little bit later as well. So where's Dave gone? Yeah, that's true. Don't know, Zoo. He's probably hiding in the background there. Either that, or he's trying to deal with Bradders on X.
Or he's found Bundu.
Or still trying to find Bundu. So match details. Obviously, it's this Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff at the Toughsheet Community Stadium.
Nice of your Italian, isn't it?
It's the most random name, but fair play. It's like their competitors' one sheet. So you can watch this on Sky Sports Plus overseas. Or Argyle TV overseas only. And also, we've put the match officials in today. So Ross Joyce is the referee, and his assistants are Samuel Clayton and Matthew Sowerby. And the fourth official is Paul Cooper. Hayden, evening Hayden, someone saying hi in the chat. Graham Byrne, half-time, Port Vale 0, Cardiff 0. Right, okay, that's a game on tonight. Didn't
Thanks, Graham.
realise that
We love
myself,
Sky
so
doing
we will
Thursday
get those
kickoff.
score updates from Graham. Mystery Strikers who's saying maybe Jamie Vardy with a load of eye emojis. So Andy, I'll just read this one out as well, Gavin, before I come to you. But Cleb's mentioned the Austrian trip, training in soft conditions and returning to the hard pitches at home. Maybe something in that in terms of the injuries. Actually, I do have a question. Obviously, the physios and all that, we had a lot of people come and leave over the break. Have we actually replaced them in a significant way?
Silence.
No. So if anybody knows in the chat, then let us know. But obviously, yeah, with the whole shake-up with backroom staff leaving as well, you do wonder whether or not we've got a full suite of, the physios and representatives there. And that, just wondering if that is related in any way.
Yeah, good shout, actually. Yeah.
So we've also I'm just trying to look at these comments as well as study and pay attention. So right, come on, get your act together. So our season opener analysis versus Barnsley, just to digest it a bit more, not to bring back those horrible memories. But you can see there, Gavin and I have put a few of these slides together for you tonight. But obviously, we adopted a formation prioritizing quick transitions and flank exploitations with aggressive pressing, which wasn't always evident throughout the game, though, Gavin, was it? We did revert the formation late on, chasing the game, but obviously once that third goal went in, it was a bit null and void by that stage. But that's like we said at the start, and I said on Saturday, there was positives to take from it if you just parked the mistakes. And I'm still even more itching to see what the guys do on Saturday. And the energy from just Caleb Watts alone from Saturday just has me excited for that alone, Gavin.
Yeah. I think my closing remarks on Saturday was, I don't feel half as bad as I did against Sheffield Wednesday the season before, when we got walloped 4-0 and could have been 14-0. I said at the beginning, it was 3 brain farts. We weren't aggressive enough in defence. I think TC said that. Galloway said that in his press conference earlier. I think Sorinola said it on the club preview show as well with that interview. They've all clearly been told, be more aggressive in defence. Anyone who wants to put a pound on all of the back four getting a yellow card on Saturday is probably a good punt. They'll all come out firing, one would assume. But we see in a minute, the patterns of play were great. Considering they've only got together for 7 weeks, I thought the patterns of play and the way we tried to transition up the pitch quickly was pretty impressive, with a very new squad, obviously, of 7 or 8 or 9 in. So, yeah, I'm not worried. I think if that's the bottom of the benchmark moving forward in terms of performance, then we're going to be in for a good season. Yeah,
I think there's definitely positives to take from it, and I think sort of the outcome that like I said on Saturday, Carl, the sort of attention of coming out in that second half, and the attention, the mental application coming out in that second half to want to sort of make up for those mistakes and have a go. That was evident to see, wasn't it? And I think sort of those passages of play, like Gavin's just said, that is going to be something exciting to watch if we can adapt. We know away is tough for us because we've got a poor record, but hopefully with such a significant squad change, we can start to bury that hatchet and start pulling results.
Yeah, and that's what Sorinola kind of alluded to in his kind of pre-match press conference on Argyle TV about it being like basically a whole new fresh squad. So there isn't really anyone thinking about our away form because everyone's new and fresh, and one part of that kind of last season and the season before's away dramas. So obviously there's a few left from those squads to kind of hopefully get away from that mindset of we're going away, we're going to lose, we're not going to pick up points. But hopefully that's not the case, and cleverly obviously has brought in players that want to fight and want to believe, and hopefully we do pick up some points on Saturday and more regular away from home. If we can win our home games and pick up points away, that's obviously going to be promotion for them. It's going to be a tough ask, obviously, at Bolton on Saturdays. They're going to be up there fighting for the playoffs, if not top 2. Again, it's a big stadium. Again, we're taking a large following away, which A lot of the times when we do take large away followings away, we don't seem to perform. It always seems to be on the other foot when we, take kind of 400 or 500 up north on a Tuesday night. We seem to play really well, but hopefully we can get the balance right, and we'll have something to be celebrating by kind of 5 o'clock. And I think it's right to go with the same defence. Even if we get a new centre back in, I don't think he's going to be thrust straight in anyway. I think Poulsen, Such, and Galloway deserve to kind of rectify their errors from last weekend and hopefully put some wrongs right.
I think I can sort of agree with that. I mean, Poulsen, took a lot of stick, and actually towards that second or final section of last season was really, really good. Yes, we have said that, we were covering cracks maybe with Katic and Talavirov, but it's just, one game, doesn't sort of do that, sort of thing. I think and he will want to prove a point as well. I've seen Zoo Corner just noted in the comments about, was the goal Mumba's fault on Saturday? Bringing that up, I think Zooks headed it onto Mumba, but there is that, I suppose, Zoo, you could say Mumba then trying to come in and jump for the header as well in front of Zooks. Zooks could have pit him off.
Communication, wasn't it?
Zooks is seeing the whole of the pitch, right? The whole of the pitch in front of him. All he's got to do, Mumba stays where he is. If he doesn't shout mine, which he clearly doesn't, he didn't hear him. They both go for the same ball, and he heads it into the back of his head.
There's miscommunication for 2 goals there. Certainly the first goal with Wiradoo and Galloway, and then the second goal with Zooks and the third goal with Zooks and Mumba. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? They'll get it right.
Yeah. Andy Prowse is saying, I'm content to wait until after the next home game to see where we are as a new squad. 4 games should see us where we are. I think that's fair. I mean, obviously we get a signing in and this promising striker could be interesting as well. There's going to take time to settle in. Before I go to the next slide, I do want to pick up just my earlier question on, I've just gone to the Argyle site in the background here. So in terms of head of physiotherapy is Gareth Law, Connor Debridge, again, is head of sports science, Alex Kay, first team physiotherapist, Harry Powell, lead performance analyst, which is not related to that side of things. But yes, so there's a few names in there that some of you will recognise. Going to the next deck. So we have sort of Gavin's a big fan, and so myself, of Aaron Cusack's little analysis that he does on Argyle TV. If you get the chance to, if you're not a member or a subscriber to Argyle TV, then there's a consideration there. They're not sponsoring this, but a good plug, because Aaron's insight on there, I tend to see the clips because that's one thing I don't pay for in amongst all the stuff that we have to do. But Gavin watches it a lot. And I also look at the clips that Aaron pits out himself. Was talking to him about it the past couple of days, and it's really insightful. We also are hoping, if he's watching in tonight, good evening, Aaron, to get Aaron on the show next month. And it'd be good to learn about what he does with his ATEC coaching, see some brilliant content that he puts out on Instagram, and obviously his famous grip socks as well on there. But it'd be good to have him on and find out a bit more about himself and what he does, and also talk about where we are going to be then as the Argyle squad. So Gavin's tried to do a bit of a Sky Sports board. So what we've got here is something that we're trialing, or Gavin's trying to do, to sort of show you some analysis. So we've just got a clip. I'll hand it over to Gavin, but a clip of a sort of piece of play in fantastic, sensible soccer style format of years ago. So Gavin, over to you. And when you want me to press play, I'll press play.
So no expense spared, as you can see on this, guys. This cost me, I think, £4.99 English pence for a one-time purchase. As I'm quite lucky, I sit in the grandstand, I can see all the patterns of play, and behind me is Roger, who's the club's statistician for 25 years, I think, maybe a bit more. So I often lean back and listen to his pearls of wisdom, because he has plenty, which makes me start to see the game a bit differently. And then when they started the Argyle analysis show, it was like, oh, okay, that makes even more sense. And what's really nice, I think, is to have a UEFA A coach digest or dissect, even if it's the right word, what's actually going on the pitch, because I think we all see it in a bit of a blink. We've all probably had one or two shandies and it sort of waves you by. Whereas watching this on a Monday evening, you kind of go, okay, that makes sense. Always charge it back to Block 9, always. But the amount sitting in this bank account, especially from all the purchases of of Andy's mug. Anyway, so I digress. So I started to play around with this the other night, really, because I was bored. Writing a business plan for somebody, and I just wanted to get a bit of a mental relief, and started playing around with this. And we talked to Aaron about potentially using some of the footage off the analyst show, and we were told it's probably going to affect some copyright laws. So here is the very rudimentary version. So just something that Aaron brought up really well, I thought was, and we did this under Schumacher quite a bit and a little bit under Rooney, having the inverted fullback. So what he talks about is the +1. So if you look on the screen, top on the halfway line, the only player sitting straddling the halfway line is Matty Saranola. So when we're in possession, we kind of slip to a back three, which is the three centre halves really that we normally have. In this instance, they're not necessarily labelled in the right way, but normally it's Galloway, Such, Palsson, and then the other member of the back four is obviously Saranola. So Saranola gets himself forward to an old-fashioned inside right for those that are over 12 years old type channel, which then normally takes the attention of the left back. So he's sort of like, well, we've got to look at him, which allows Xavier Amici to drift out very wide onto the right touch line and become the overload. So what they've done on 2 or 3 occasions, actually did it in the second half quite well too, is they play some really compact passes between each other and then get a ball really wide really quickly to Amici to attack the space, and either like this one. So this is a mock-up really of the goal that was disallowed. Ignore the players and who they are apart from Amici, but I'll run through this with no expense spared. So if you want to just run the clock,
Go then,
Mike. So ball disappears now into Saranola. The left back comes to cut him down, and then he runs down the line, draws the defenders, whips the ball across the box for the goal, which was then obviously brought down because what I couldn't put on this was the 6'5", 18-stone centre half falling over because someone blew on the back of his neck. But we'll evade that. But what that does, I'll do more of these as I get used to this piece of kit, because that took me forever. But what's really clear now is having that right back that's, as Aaron really articulately put, is a 360 footballer. So someone who can take the ball back to goal, spin right, spin left. Ballymumble will be very good at it too, in fairness, if he plays wing back again this season. Someone who can get the ball in tight space, either bring people in or turn his marker on a sixpence, drive up the pitch. And if he's brought his eye line or the defender's eye line into him, it means that the person behind him isn't being marked, which gives someone of Amici, I suppose, his real, and I didn't find that until today, but Saranola and Amici go back a long way since under 9s, I think. Okay. Having that connection's really good, and it means Amici has the ball in space. He can either attack the line and do what Whittaker couldn't, which is get a good accurate crossing on his right foot, or as we saw at Torquay, similar action. In this time, it was Joe Edwards in that slot. He took the ball, dragged in the left back, who then gave the ball wide. He managed to cut in then off his left foot and ping a one into the top locker. So that's just one instance, I suppose, of the type of football that if it looks like we're going to play. And I think from what TC said today in the press conference, in the Argyle TV conference, was that first 5 or 6 minutes was TC in a can, if you like. Really fast, aggressive. They won every second ball in the first minute or two. They got the ball wide and they got it into the red zone and scored. And those who obviously were very religiously following my Miron ball tactical analysis from last year, get the ball down the byline, get it in the red zone, have some strikers there who put the ball away. So for me, if you're doing that after 3-4 games of football in pre-season with a very mixed squad playing 60 and 30, if you're doing that on your first game, by Christmas, those patterns of play should be phenomenal. And which is why I'm very, very happy to see the quality of us getting up the pitch really quickly, this early in the piece, because last year under Rooney, it took a few games, probably till Sunderland, I would say, till it clicked when we beat them at home. So there we are.
Yeah, no, good. I think the only, just to echo Top Five's comment, is like I'm watching Monday Night Football with Nev and Cara. The only thing, Gavin, we forgot is your giant pen, isn't it? Cara who has the giant pen, or Neville. So there you go.
I've got a face for radio as well, not TV.
I thought for a minute there, Gav, we were watching Top Cat because you said TC in a can, and I'm just looking for Officer Dibbles.
That's class. Yeah.
So
okay.
I tell you what, if we had a studio, we could get a Subbuteo table set out.
Oh, that'd be
and
class.
Gav, you could move. So
Camera looking down, flicking across. Yeah.
So
look, I love the tactical side of the game. I love seeing patterns of play, and sitting where I do, it's really easy to see those. But it's lovely, I think, just to see. The second half, there was a ball tucked inside, which went out wide, back inside, back to the fullback, and then a really quick ball overran to Bally, and it just ran out of play. But in 4 passes there, we kind of got 40 yards up the pitch. So if that was half a yard in terms of weight less of a pass, he'd have been scooting down that left touchline then. And if that was in the Premier League, they'd have been replaying that until the cows come home on Match of the Day. So we're playing some great stuff, right? If we don't have these idiosyncratic, stupid brain farts halfway through a game where we're not attacking the ball as centre halves, or we're sticking our leg out limply because no one's told us not to, I think we'll be a good side to be reckoned with, and with some additions we're there.
I think Soranola's going to be pulling up with a lot more.
He's going to be doing some serious mileage, mate. I completely agree. I think the one thing that they might be thinking about now, maybe Mike want to sort of look at this for the narrative on your make believe world is are they going to look to sign another wing back if Joe's going to be a problem all year, every 5 minutes with his hamstring? Because that's such an important position, that right back now, that we've only got one who can do it. If Joe's not going to be effective all year, if Saranola gets croc and there is a lot of miles in the legs, that game plan seems to disappear. The only other person who could really play that role would be Ballymumba, and I'm sure he won't be particularly happy about, your left wing now, he is number 11 shirt, but can you go and play right wing back, please?
I think as well, when Joe came on Saturday,
don't forget Jack McKenzie.
Sorry, Carl, I didn't mean to cut you off here. He just looked a bit leggy to me, and he wasn't the sort of same in-your-face Joe Edwards we saw last season. But yeah.
But good banter in the comments as well. So yeah, no, thanks for that, Gav. I think we did in the off season. There's tools that the likes of Sky use. They're not cheap, so it's stuff that we'll go down the line and we are looking for sponsorship. So, if anybody is interested with a business, whether you want to sponsor a show or sponsor the season, be the title sponsor, we can also mix that up a little bit as well. So, give us a shout, either get in touch with myself, and then I can follow that up with you. But yeah, we said we wanted to bring something different to you. Gavin's played with that app, and do you know what? It's part of it being as simple as it is, hence the sensible soccer reference for those that are old enough. It adds a good bit of fun to it as well. So going back to the slide deck, let's move on and note the spelling mistake, yes, on Aaron's surname when you're doing these at 10 o'clock at night. Sorry, Aaron, if you are watching. Ninja Matt, just look at the comments. A few players added to that system will be a very good team. So that's, absolutely agree with that. There's a few other comments in the chat as well that you can see on screen there. So over to the Bolton Wanderers season opener. So obviously they lost as well. We got a couple of slide decks on this. They had goals conceded late in each half. Schumacher's formation of 4-3-2-1 prioritised possession-based attacking style, leveraging dynamic wide players to create opportunities from the flanks. Notable link-up play, particularly between Dewberry and Cogley on the night, generated several chances. But performance gaps, clinical finishing was an issue, with Bolton hitting the post twice. They were undone by Stockport's clinical moments, conceding late in each half, as I said. So sort of anything to add to that, Gavin, really?
No, I think both teams will play very similarly on Saturday. If you look at those that can remember how Shuey played, which we all probably can, it was very similar, inverted fullbacks, both sides, quick transition, play it on the deck. I think Shuey's probably a little bit more possession for possession's sake than Tom seems to be. But other than that, I think there'll be two very even sides. Both play the same formation as well, 4-2-3-1. So key matchups in the middle. I think Ibrahim and Weirdo will be. Yeah, Weirdo will have to be on his game, and I think he'll be more than fired up this Saturday, having had a not great game last week. And it'll be interesting to see how quickly Caleb Watts presses if he's playing in the 10 rather than playing in the false 9 where he played last week. In which case, you've got a really good person to press and harry and win the ball back high up the pitch off their two defensive midfielders.
Yeah, cool. Just go into a couple of comments. Zoo just giving us an update on the Cardiff game. I mean, Zoo, you should be watching and focused on this, right? Watching the Cardiff game there, they are awful. Vale should be 4-0 up. Andy B saying Mackenzie is an overlapping fullback, cutting back crosses. When fit, we need to use him. Only 9 months since he was understudy to Robertson for Scotland. Thanks for that, Andy. So this sort of slide, Bolton's tactical dissection versus Stockport. We mentioned the formation and weaknesses that exposed that gave them those late goals. Bolton showed aggressive. It's really probably a duplication of the previous slide, but Bolton showed aggressive attacking intent, hitting the post twice, as we said. So I think at home, it's almost they're going to be up for it. And they're probably going to go at it. Obviously, Schumacher has undone us when obviously we played Stoke at home. But I think this one's going to be different. And I'm going to predict this is going to be quite an exciting game to watch. My challenge on Saturday is we're going to pick the kids up from the in-laws. We've got to go up to Gloucester to do the handover. And coming back, I'll be trying to hope and pray my mobile signal works to be able to listen to it, let alone watch it. So I'm just looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an interesting one, this one. Contrasting styles, then Gavin, that we pulled on this one. Obviously formation and structure is very similar. Attacking philosophy, structured build-up through possession, leveraging the wingers as the overloads, frequent chances as well. Defensive approach. Just give us your thoughts on the contrasting playing styles.
I think we're going to probably, I imagine, that back six will try and become impregnable. So win every second ball, win the knockdowns. So the Ibrahim, Weirdo, and then the back four, I think will try and nullify anything they've got going forward. And then on transition, I think is where we'll be really try and hurt them. So that they're at home, they're going to want to dominate the ball. We're away, we're going to want to try and dominate the ball. I think we won't for large periods, if I'll be honest. And we'll see. But I think if that back six play to their potential, from what I've seen of Weirdo pre-season, he's a beast in midfield and he'll win a lot of balls. Ibrahim exactly the same. Ibrahim can get forward a bit quicker. You've got Boateng on the bench. If either of those two start to flag, who's also a very good ball winner and a good distributor. So if the back four hold up and don't, come out having brain farts every 5 minutes, I think we got a good chance of holding a clean sheet. And if you get a clean sheet away, it only takes one moment of Amici brilliance or maybe a Peppel poach, and all of a sudden you've won a game. And I think from what Tom said earlier in the season is that we don't want to be losing games away. So that's the starting point. So I think we'll be quite pragmatic. And when we go forward, we'll go forward at pace. And I think one of the things he said today in the Argyle thing is he wants them, the Argyle side, to be less hesitant. He said it's like there was a fear of failure on Saturday, where he wants them not to have a fear of failure, which I think is a really good thing, because then your mind goes and you end up playing more instinctively heads up rather than trying to play patterns. So, it should be interesting.
Yeah, obviously the mindset of, going out as a couple of players, I said, and wanting to win, win every game, which might sound really obvious, but I think, that's the whole plan and the philosophy he's trying to build here. It's not about just maintaining league position, even though I know some Hallett fans will feel that that's what Hallett wants, really. It's not that. And I think that's what's exciting. And, sort of as you look at those players that we signed, and there was mixed reaction to them, we've seen glimpses of some of them, obviously in that first game, of what they can do. These, although we don't always get these known signings come and join us, we have done so well, and we'll allude to it a bit more later, on the players that we brought in that are completely under the radar. So we could have some really, really strong prospects, and I believe we do in the setup now. So this is Gavin's predicted lineup formations for Saturday. Over to you again, Gavin, to go through this one.
I've been a little bit on the change, as it were. Not that I'm a middle-aged woman, but Ashby Delazouche in goal. We haven't got anyone else. I've gone for Benarous at left back, and then the centre half pairing of Galloway and Such. So I've left Powson on the bench. Saranola at right back, playing that inverted role whilst in possession. Midfield of Weirdo and Ibrahim. I think Weirdo, I know someone's just said in the comments, Weirdo hasn't really got his spark back. I think that TC has been vilified by the Man United faithful for months and months and months in the past. He'll want him to get back out on that pitch, break back on the horse, and provide a really dominant display. So I can see him starting, and then the front three will pick themselves if Bin Peppel is fully fit. And I'm missing a player there, which is our star player from last week. I've just really got 10 on the pitch. And Caleb Watts in the 10 role. So I'll colour him in later with a Sharpie.
Yeah, this is, like I said, sort of although we sort of look at this and get even other eyes on it when Gavin and I are pulling these together late at night. The odd things.
It's not the late at night bit; it's the 5 a.m. starts that make the late nights that concentration go.
The whole day. So I just picked that enlarged so people could see that a little bit more clearly. But Carl, anything that you would do differently with that lineup besides making sure you had Caleb Watts in the squad?
Well, I don't know. Barnsley managed okay with 10 men, so maybe we should give it a go. Maybe that's
good to go out with 10.
New way forward. Start with 10 men. Yeah. No, I agree with that lineup. I was a bit dubious of having Benarous back there, but I think his attacking ability, I think we need to see that. So if both of them kind of invert at times with Wiradou dropping back into a back three when needed, I think that could be quite nice. And I think we want to see a bit more from Benarous. We haven't seen a great deal of him in pre-season, and obviously he came off the bench last Saturday. And I think against Bristol City in pre-season, he came off the bench. So it'd be nice to see him get some proper minutes. Obviously, Peppel, I think, will walk straight back in to the side. Obviously, moving Watts back into that 10, which will be interesting to see if he has an even better performance as a 10 than he did as a false 9. But I think at the minute, kind of the 11 picks itself really until we get that, the number 9 and the defender in. But I think it's a strong side. Obviously, our bench is going to be a lot weaker with the ones that are out. So you might see obviously Joe Hatch, Tegan Finn, obviously Caleb Roberts is back as well. So the bench is going to look a bit weak, I'd say. But yeah, we'll see how Saturday goes, and I'm quite confident.
Yeah, I think sort of on those points, Andy, and just laughing at the comments as well about Zoo Corners pit £50 on Ibrahim to get 16 plus yellows before the season started at 40-1. We don't condone betting. Obviously, if you do bet responsibly.
All donations to the Block 9 podcast, Zoo Corner.
Yeah, that's it. But I think the one side to this is there's a lot of youngsters cleverly, obviously, did all the youth setup at Watford. He stated the fact that he's keen to develop the young talent. Argyle have been doing that for the past few years now to really strengthen that setup. It's an opportunity for any one of these lads that gets on the bench or even gets on the pitch, even in Harold, to actually come on and then take their opportunity, isn't it? So, and I think that's where, agree with Watts with Peppel coming in, assuming he will start. Watts will be so quick around that pitch, which is why you can't see him in the lineup there. I think it's going to give him more freedom to get round and forward. So, add your thoughts.
Yeah, I totally agree. He had a young squad at Watford, didn't he? And a bit of youth and experience there, but mainly young players. I think if you just give people like Joe Hatch or Tegan Finn a chance, then they might just grasp it out and sort of have a run with it. I agree with Paulson being out, but I don't want to sort of make him a scapegoat because I think we tend to focus on weaknesses in the side rather than trying to look at all the positives that come out of the game. There weren't many positives to come out of the game on Saturday, but from Caleb Watts. Watts would do well on a 10 role. I totally agree with that. We need that front man, whoever that might be, whether it's Peppel or a new signing coming in to play up front. So, yeah, I sort of agree with that, Gav. That's that selection there, totally.
We had
Just quickly, Gav, before you start, looking at our potential 11 for Saturday, who would be
very good
captain?
question, isn't it? I would give it to Weirdo. Yeah.
Weirdo, yeah.
I would say go on, Sunshine,
go
out, lead the side, and show us what you can do. Last week was an absolute anomaly. One of the things I was having a conversation on Twitter about this week was formation. So obviously with Palsson around and the limited sort of centre backs, there is another version of the truth out there, which we discussed earlier on Twitter, which is a back three of Galloway on the left, Palsson in the middle, Such on the right, and then a midfield four of Mumba on the left, Ibrahim and Weirdo in the middle, and Saranola on the right, both wing backs, and then Caleb Watts in the 10, and then two up front in Peppel and Amiichi, which for me at the moment, I would say probably suits our skill set better, but is a new manager who's set his stall out all pre-season going 4-2-3-1 going to go, we've lost one game, I know what I'm going to do, I'm going to flick to a back three. I think the answer is no. But I think if we're all truthful, with the players that we have available and what we played last year, that's probably the more comfortable with Saranola and Mumba being the wing backs. But we'll see. If we win Saturday, we play 4-2-3-1. We put 11 players out, not 10. Caleb Watts starts in the 10 channel and we win, then, that's why Mr. Cleverly gets paid the big bucks and we're talking about it.
I think the other thing we've got to remember as well is that Shuey's going to watch the game on Saturday. He knows that people like Weirdo are going to be up there for a scrap, maybe. He's going to put himself in there, get himself booked maybe. So he might want to play on that. He might want to get him booked, and so he has to tread coals for the rest of the match. We don't know, but there's always that, isn't there? There's always that sort of scenario where someone's going to get booked early on, and it could well be Weirdo or one of these or Ibrahim.
It's like Andy I said on Saturday's show that I like the bit of feistiness and a bit of the aggression, but there is still making sure you've got that discipline. I mean, there's a lot of I say a lot. There's Ninja Matt and Zoo agreeing with Gavin on giving why I do the armband. I think for me, I wouldn't, purely because I think I would just, if I'm going to play him, I'd say just go out there and just focus on yourself and getting your game done. I know he was, Zoop hit the point about he was captain at Fleetwood. I think for me, I love the fact that he goes in like a bouncer and pulls players off and gets involved. Obviously, he had the squabble in the penalty area we said earlier, but the discipline's got to be there. The danger, with people referring to Ibrahim as well, is that we don't want to end up in a situation that not only do we get injuries, physical injuries, that we end up we're losing players down to bans. That's not what we want to see.
I think Weirdo Saturday, I think he just overhyped himself. I think he just got himself
built
too
up.
worked
It's
up.
the first game of the season, isn't it?
If you saw the press conference in the week, he was like, I want it to start this afternoon. Let's go. And it was like, he was banging his head against a brick wall, like Graham Dorr used to, another rugby reference, before an international. He was, I think he just too much energy, too much hype, too much aggression, and wrestling with their centre half on the floor of their penalty box was interesting. But I think he'd have calmed down this week,
and obviously the own goal,
taking it on the chin. Cleverly's had a chat with him. If that's the lineup, I'd start with him as skipper.
Yeah,
there you go.
Fine. Yeah, look, that's what we're there for, not to agree on
game of opinions.
Yeah, exactly. So Andy B saying after one game, I'd be very surprised if we changed the back four. Not ideal, but playing Benarus in the back three when in position.
I wouldn't play Benarus in the back three. It'd be Palsson, Galloway and Such.
Yeah.
Just to let that.
That's fine.
Then,
that's fine. Also, Ninja Matt, people will start to play on we are doing Ibrahim hot-headedness. They'll need to learn to calm down and not lose. And that's where, for me, captain-wise, got to do a dare say Paulson, but you need someone with the experience that will get in and just say, whoa, calm it down.
It would have to be Brendan Galloway, wouldn't it, if you wouldn't give it to Wiredu? There's no one else that you would really put your finger on. I mean, Soranola's a bit quiet. I mean, he's got a bit of experience now being around the squad, but there's not many captain material.
And we did
on
say,
the
obviously, after Saturday's game that the leadership was obviously something that was missing in there. So
it's a good point that Zukorn just made, Mike, about being nervous when he spoke to him at training. I think he was nervous on Saturday. I mean, Wiredu's probably used to playing in front of I don't know what Fleetwood's crowds were, 5,000-6,000.
4,000 or 5,000.
4,000 or 5,000. And then he's walking out into 16,000 crowds with atmosphere and expectation from the fans. And it is pressure to the players. We've got to watch their mental health, because there were comments made to Mr. Wiredu, unfortunately, from some section of our fans, or we don't know what was said, or Barnsley fans, we don't know what was said. But that's going to affect the player. That's really going to affect the player. And that's going to show in nerves. That's going to show in, what am I doing here, sort of thing.
I think, and that's where the nature of for those that obviously saw it with what we put out earlier in the week, the whole nature of it is just to sort of support the players, and that absolutely people have a right to moan and say so and so didn't have a great game. They might add more expletives to that. You get that because you've got expectations. You want your team to do well. Some of the comments, that were just wrong, and that's what these platforms allow people to do. And it's not great. You want to get by and support the players, because the squad, and the club putting out the message was great show of support. This is where a tight-knit squad, will support that player and bring that player through. So, I want to see him get straight back out on the pitch and away from home, whether or not that gives him a bit more of a distraction or to be able to focus a bit better. But he's just keen and eager. It's like Pleguezuelo said when he came on the show the other week. There's a lot of young lads that are hungry, to do well and prove themselves. And so get back out there, dust yourself down, and show us what you can do. But I like the fact that we got a player that's prepared to run around, put himself out there, and also back up the players on the pitch when things get a bit rough. But Schumacher or any other manager will definitely try and play on that, and that's where they have to just equally sort of discipline themselves or have the support of someone to do that. The summary, we pretty much done that. I won't go through that. Obviously, manager comparisons. Schumacher obviously led us to the League One title with those 101 points. Obviously beat us when he came down as Stoke City manager. So lost their opener, as we know, and cleverly is looking to obviously bounce back from that 3-1 loss. Focusing on improvements and obviously seeing if we can get that defensive centre-back in before the game kicks off. I
don't think he'll start anyway, Mike. I don't think it's going to be another Talavirov and Katic scenario where they both get thrown in having met each other on a Friday afternoon. If we get signed this centre-half, I think it's Welsh from Celtic, I think he'll be on the bench.
Let's see. So it'd be good to get someone through the doors. It's been a bit quiet the past couple of weeks.
It's a bit rude to Mike, isn't it? See, corner?
Say again?
Mike, I wouldn't have you as fat, mate, I have to say.
Come on, Zoo. Come on. But you're not wrong. Anyway, no. All fair in love and football. Player key focuses then. So Carlos Mendes, chance creation, his dribbling prowess, pass accuracy and shots on goal. He's one that Gavin and I sort of picked out.
If you look at the highlights, he created 2 quite big chances. He's playing the left of their 4-2-3-1. He's in the 3 behind the striker on the left-hand side. Pacey, rangy, finds a pass. And a good player. And the stats seem to echo that on Saturday against Stockport.
I'm trying to find how do you block that user. So no, that was very, very good, Ian. Very, very good. From what I heard, Welsh needed shoulder surgery. I won't read out what Zoo, but you can see it. And Caleb Watts, of course, as we touched upon just now, just exciting, the energy from that sort of player. You know, he's going to turn into an immediate fan's favourite. Let's hope he can sustain that. We all have seen players have a brilliant first game and then fall off, but yeah, I just think this guy is a different gravy. So
very intelligent player.
Yes, excited to see him come back in.
Anyone who walks around with their collar up, a la Danny Mayer, is with a bit of swagger is got my vote, to be honest.
Sorry, what was that, Gav?
I said no. I said any football player that walks around with their collar up.
Hang on a minute, let's put the collar up a bit.
Fair play. Score predictions then. Went with 2-1 when we put this slide on last night. I mean, Andy, what's your prediction in this game?
I think it's going to be tighter than we think. I think both teams are going to go hell for leather to get the points on the board, but I think it's going to fizzle out to be a draw. So I was going to say a 1-1 draw because Shuey's going to want to win, we're going to want to win, and I think we'll just cancel each other out. Hopefully, come back with a point.
Carl?
I hope I'm wrong, but I think we're onto a 2-0 or 3-1 defeat. I can't see us going up there taking charge of the game. I still think we're weak at the back. I think we'll be better defensively. I think they'll be wanting to prove a point, but I still think without that centre back, I still think we're exposed in a lot of areas, and with their attack being quite strong as well, and the chances they created against Stockport, I'm a little bit worried. I think whoever gets the first goal probably will go on to win the game. I'm hoping we can go there and get a point, but I think Bolton might steal it.
It could be Carl.
2-1 or 3-1.
Graham Burns just going 3-0 Bolton. Guys, put your score predictions in the chat. It could be one of those where both teams could start edgy because they're a little bit nervous after the defeats in the first game. I think there is an element of that. I think if Argyle try and take it to Bolton straight away could be interesting, but I think that threat on any counters. Come on, Carl. Yeah, from top 5. I can never bet against us. So that's just the way it is. I mean, Gavin, we both sort of agreed to one of you. Changed your mind or any other thoughts on the prediction?
No, it's an interesting, I think, point. Shuey's not going to want to lose 2 games on the bounce, so they might just start a little edgy. If TC gets them revved up and says, don't worry about the score, don't worry about anything, just worry about the performance, go out there and attack them, be aggressive, win the second balls, really press high, disrupt them, because you know what it's like. I mean, I think they've sold 30,000 tickets, right? If you've sold 30,000 tickets, you've lost at Stockport, which is another local rival last week, who are a fancied side, but they're a much smaller club, let's be candid. And then on Saturday, you're playing the manager's old side, and the first few passes go astray around the back 4, and Caleb Watts intercepts, and Ibrahim's bombing forward, and they're really getting into them. This could be, that first 5-10 minutes where you blink and you're 2-0 down, and you go, oh no. Yeah. Conversely, if they start on the front foot and get comfort and get an early goal, then our mindset might end up being like another Sandcastle at high tide, and it's all over and we're back to last year. So I think that first 10 minutes are important.
Big advantage about this game is, unlike Stoke, when we first played Schumacher's team, Schumacher knew every player in the squad we had. He knew the weaknesses and the strengths. He knew exactly how to play them. He's not going to know much about our current squad apart from 1 or 2 maybe.
No, and I think the sort of the situation with the squad, I think the mental state now is just totally different. So he is going to see this as it's going to be a tough one. Yes, you'll be saying go out there and get that first goal. Argyle could crumble again, but it'll be weary, I think. 30,000 as Graham's put also in the chat with a clappy hands emoji, and there's also, is it just over 1,600? Argyle
1650 sold just over.
Sold. So so Carl's going. So I'm sure we'll get some photos and stuff, and also he'll drop us a voice note to the 3 of us on what his thoughts were at the game. So that's always good. Zoo Corner, it said score update: Port Vale 0, Cardiff 0. So top 5 is going 1-0 to Argyle. Will nick it. I think it says in the last 5 minutes from a corner. Paul Sweet is going to have to kick you out as well, Paul. Bolton Wanderers 5, Plymouth Argyle 3. Let's see how that one pans out. Zoo Corner's gone for a 2-1 win, and just re-emphasising the Ibrahim booked side of it as well.
Standard.
So we shall see. We shall see. We've just been just over an hour in if we take away the 10-minute countdown. So thank you for those that are joining us. Just shy over 850 in tonight, which is great. So thank you for those that have come in. It's really good to have you in with us tonight. So, and on a Thursday night as well, like I said, this is a bit more of a laid back one, the live lounge, and our post-match game shows, for those that aren't aware, are now Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Will be interesting this weekend, because I'll be back in time for the live show, but trying to watch or listen to the game going down that M5 will be an interesting challenge. But I'll be excited for it. I can imagine I'm going to lose signal, come back, and there'll be 2 or 3 goals have happened somewhere. So going back now to the sort of transfers, and we sort of put this slide together on signing a player and what gives. And I said, let's pick up on this. There's a few comments. VBTS on X said the Peter Shilton podcast interview with the Argyle official podcast, was quite interesting. There was a bit in there, I forget how many minutes in, but where he talks about, the sort of challenges. I haven't listened to it yet and had a chance myself. But effectively, sort of, I said, let's put a pros and cons together. And money is an important factor, that's for sure. And also, I sort of don't always buy into this. We want the players that only want to play for the club and are committed to the cause and the plan and all this sort of stuff. And I sort of get that. But the number one priority is going to be, what am I going to get paid? Yeah, we said this on Saturday. People are not doing it always for the love, but I think when we do find those players, as David Fox alluded to as well during his tenure, and even the Schumacher era before, if you get that right bunch of lads that are traveling away with each other all the time, there's a lot more camaraderie. You get more time in hotels and stuff and on the journeys to discuss tactics and get more out of that time rather than just sit there as we can all do and, on our phones or whatever you do in your leisure. So, I think for me, though, sort of listening to and reading a few views, there is a point at which, do you have to say, though, with trying to find the right person and all this sort of stuff, do we actually just say having someone is better than having no one at all? So I'll come to the gents with that question in a second. But in terms of the pros of joining Plymouth Argyle, passionate fans, forget circumstances, generally, obviously, a great supportive fan community that we have down here. Playing time, I think it's probably fair to say that some players will get a chance to get more game time than you might do in bigger clubs, a bigger squad, sorry. There's a lot in the pecking order. Good coaching facilities. I think for League One, we are a bit above most, obviously, certainly not in the Championship. And obviously, being part of that team that I just mentioned now, yes, we can say the area is fantastic because it is, and all that jazz. But there's those that we sort of pit on the pro side, and then the con side, league position. Obviously, a relegated side, no matter how you look at it, dropping down from the Championship is never. No player likes that on their CV. That's at that club, let alone joining one with it. The remote location, that's the big one that seems to be the elephant in the room with, it's always causing a problem. Far from other clubs, leading to a lot of travel. That affects any friends and family, of course, because if players have a close-knit tie with their family and their friends, then you are sort of at least 2 to 3 hours away from anybody by car. Lack of a social scene. If you are a young player and you're earning good money, which they do these days, then you want to go and splash the cash. You want to work hard. You want to play hard. There isn't, but going back in the days of Union Street still wouldn't cut it, would it? But yeah, so there isn't that social scene down here. Financial offers, obviously, we always assume that we don't offer as much. The Dale Taylor thing from rumours suggests that we offered a lot more than what Blackpool offered him. But also with Dale Taylor, he's from Northern Ireland. He's not too far away to get on a ferry by car and go straight back home that way. So there's all sorts of things around it. Gavin, we'll never really know the ins and outs, and it'll be great to get someone on, whether it's an agent or even someone that can give us a bit of insight into it. But we've just got to deal with what we got to deal with. We've done it for the past X number of years, haven't we?
We have. In a simple answer, I think the biggest challenge is the turnover of the squad this year. I think if we'd kept, another 5 or 6 instead of what do we have in the end? 18 leave, 16 leave, something like that. I think if we'd had 10 leave, there wouldn't be this, absolute perennial bedwetting session that's going on every 5 minutes, and our friend Dave going, is Taylor in yet? Every day just to, add fuel to said fire. Because it wouldn't be so bad. We're not having to do such a massive turnaround and turnover of players. And I think Foxy kind of talked about that in the fans forum, saying, we're already on a hiding to nothing because we had 7 loan players and none of them stayed with us. So there's 7 before you start. Yeah. Is there a problem? I think it's only been amplified by the fact that we've had such a large turnover of players. And as TC said, I think a couple of times in commentary or in press conferences, the 9's a big shirt and it's heavy shoes to fill and all the other sort of bits of chat that go around that. So he's right, but we've always had this problem or not problem. We've always found good players in the end. Carey's come down from Scotland. The list goes on. Back in the previous Championship day, we've had a lot of players who've gone on to play Premier League football. They come over here and didn't have an issue either. I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. I do completely 100% back the philosophy of, if you don't want to come down and live here, don't play for us. Simple as that. That for me is paramount. So I think they're right. I don't quite agree with what Tom said on the Pilgrims pod of, well, you just got to get bodies in, and if they only want to be here to collect their cash, then that's fine. It's such a tight-knit squad. They're spending so much time away from home. And Ninja Matt's actually commented around Obafemi's bang on the money. He spent more time, I think, last year in Grosvenor than he did in Harper's Park. That can't be good for any changing room. It sounds like at the moment there's a really big emphasis on culture and ethos and togetherness. And if you have 1 or 2 cracks in that changing room, that could do far more harm than good. So wait, be patient. The window's still got 2.5, 3 weeks left to go in it. Get the right people at the right time. Is geography a problem? Only if you make it a problem.
Yeah, I think it's, it is interesting. I think that the cold question of, do you actually say having someone is better than nothing at all? Sort of where Tom was going with it. I think there is sort of debate in that. You don't want to just get the likes of Obafemi and where that seemed to just go completely wrong. And let's face it, that was sort of known with Obafemi, but also some of the antics of Rooney were also known, and we didn't choose to observe that. So, you won't get every decision right in business, as Simon said, and seen plenty of that over the years myself, as well as you will have had, Gaz. So it's one of those where I think if you've got an option that you think is near enough there, can you make it work? But if your philosophy is to stand by that, then I respect that too. I mean, Carl, what's your thoughts to add on this and why you think? I know you've sort of preached that you feel it's the money thing more than anything, but if the rumours on that Dale Taylor are true, then offering more clearly didn't cut it.
No, you got to kind of respect what players want at the end of the day. I mean, they're putting their futures on the line. If they've got families, kids to move and taking them out of school and moving a long way, then fair enough. If they want to stay closer to home and accept another offer, that's totally their decision. Location's always been a massive issue for us. And if players don't want to come down because of that, fine. We'll wait for the ones that do. And obviously the ones we have brought in have invested into that mentality of being out on the limb and kind of having that camaraderie in the dressing room to, like cleverly said in the press conference reference today about having that siege mentality and wanting to lift or raise your rolling your sleeves up to be part of, you know, the area down here and investing in the club. And if players don't want to do that, then that's fine. And obviously we have, in respect to Dale Taylor, we did offer more money for him. So, and they've said that a few times regarding funds aren't the problem. We can go back to the whole Burrell transfer. I mean, I still think we will be early on in that one, if I'm totally honest, but we'll never know the real answer. Taylor, we tried. So yeah, it is what it is. We're used to it. Same with the travelling. You know, if players don't want to be on a coach for 6 hours, fine, don't bother coming. But again, it's part of your job as a footballer, being on a coach. And many players probably do end up going around 3 or 4 hours around the country on a bus. If they can't manage another couple, then yeah, don't come. We'll wait for the players that do want to come.
Look, it's frustrating for everybody, isn't it, Andy? And you know, sort of. We said it many a time, you know, or I certainly have. You know, running a football club ain't easy, and when you're in the situation, you know, Chilton is what he alluded to. I do want to catch up with that when VVTS mentioned that, so it's worth going and checking it out. But you know, look, it's like we said, it's not something that we're not used to, and we've done well off the back of it as well. You know, if you look at recent ones, you know, Hardy going back a few years, but then Mumba, Whittaker, you know, there are those that you can find. And said it before, the right player come into the club with the right mindset and the club's right mindset and philosophy, where it didn't work somewhere else before, can just work really well, and then you get the results that you do. Yes, something obviously went on with Whittaker in the end. I think the whole Rooney situation just disrupted that even more, but we've done that now, so we move on. But you know, any thoughts from your side, Andy?
Well, I don't know if I've missed something here, but we've signed 10 players, you know, and a lot of them have come from up north, if you like, right? They've all come down here.
They've all come from up north geographically, and unless they sign from Truro.
You know, Carl and I went to the training session on Monday, and the togetherness was there. You know, you could see that, you know, that the players were getting on together, doing the work together. It looked really good for those who weren't there. And people like Weridu and Ibrahim, it was just like that real togetherness there. It looked so. It was relaxed, you know. There's a lot of laughter on the pitch. Nance was sort of orchestrating that, if you like. But it was a good training session to watch and to see the players who are gelling together. You know, because it just get to know each other. Remember, still they've only sort of 6 weeks and they haven't sort of played together apart from once in a pre-season game. So they're still going to get to know each other, aren't they? And I think it's going to take a little bit of time for that to settle in. And I'm sure we'll get results from it, but we've just got to be patient, guys. You know, it's there's no use trying to sort of make scapegoats or anything.
I'm just trying to, if you can see anything strange going on the screen. I was just trying to find. Oh, there it is. You said you were at the session on.
Father and son, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Andy's beard hasn't aged well. No, but yeah. So there you are. Look at the game, Carl. You just actually on that. You said. There wasn't obviously a full squad of pros there. You know, how was it? I mean, you put out a number of videos on the channel, which was great, and people engaged really well with those. How did you find that day? That happened?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a damp squid. The weather was crap. I mean, the turnout was okay. I just thought there was quite a few first teamers missing. I mean, they all came out at the start, you know, ran out, did a few laps. Did a few warm-ups down at the Barn Park end, which nobody could really see because it was just too far away because we were in the Lyndhurst. And then they came over and did a couple of drills, and they kind of just slowly but surely kind of filtered off. I presume that's because they had the signing session in the Mayflower, so they probably had to get back in the warm for that and get changed, blah, blah, blah. But it didn't seem to be as good as previous open days that I've been to, when it went on a bit longer and everybody was out doing drills a lot longer. Yeah, but it was good to see some of the younger players. We saw that young 15-year-old that was at Torquay. Was it? Yeah, he looked quite good. Very similar.
No, his one was coming through the ranks.
Sorry?
I thought it was one at Norwich.
Oh, sorry, right, okay.
The guy who come on and played at right back or right wing back. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and he looked really good. He looked he split an image of Sorinola, same kind of build, how he plays as well. You could quite easily mistake them too.
That might be the succession plan from Joe. If Joe doesn't make it fit this year, he might sign.
Possibly, but yeah, he looks for such a young age. He looked really good. Joe Hatch looked decent on the drills as well. Tegan Thin, and there's another young one with blonde hair, which I didn't recognise at all. I don't know who that was, but yeah, it was good. Managed to see Tom Cleverley for 2 seconds. He was just mobbed by all these kids, so I just had to wait my turn, and I was one of them. Yeah.
No,
so yeah, it was good, but
yeah,
it could have been better. But it's for more the kids really. At the end of the day, having their selfies and autographs.
I have Zoo. I'll come on to the comments as well in a second. But Zoo said, yeah, they everyone was in the players' lounge signing except for Tom. So that's good. It's great seeing those photos, and they're great sessions that are organised by the club. I was hoping to do it, but I just wasn't off. It was last weekend. Carl went, "Oh yeah, that's tomorrow. Don't forget." And then it was like, "No, it's not." So I was gutted. Gavin didn't make it either because of just business commitments as well. So I hope father and son enjoyed their day out. And as Zoo said, it was his son that made that comment because it was Zoo who made reference to that at the time. There's a few things going on here. So there we go. So let's go with it. So I don't know, all the eyes must have been leading to, as we were just having a bit of fun in the chat there, including myself. Zoo said centre-back incoming announcement tomorrow. Apparently loan has been agreed, which is what was getting mentioned. Evening, Spencer.
Tom Cleverley did say he was at mid-20s, didn't he, in the press conference? 24, 25? How old is that Welsh?
So that Welsh guy's
player?
25. Bang on the money.
And the one at Bristol City?
23.
Same age?
I also did see some comments, I think Zoo and a couple of others, about a shoulder injury or something for that Celtic.
I think it's going to be the Bristol City one.
In that case, he's 23.
Yeah. Rosa Kernis.
Interestingly, he plays left back, centre back, but his primary position is left midfield in a 4-3-3 at Bristol City. So whether he can play 3 or 4 different positions, I'm not sure.
Multiple positions.
And he's not that tall either. He's only 175, which is what? Just under 6 foot in old money. So then again, Plaggy's only 5'10", isn't he, on tippy toes? So
so it
massively tall, but
it looks like there's a few comments coming in about it, but it was Welsh who needs a shoulder surgery. Rosa Kernis, don't recognise that name. If you've been in before, apologies, but welcome. Players will come if we can offer good coaching and player development. It's why we've got a young, hungry squad. There'll be players out there who want to come. Absolutely, and I'm sure there's agents should be doing their job for that. I think also actually that was what was key, sort of Simon Hallett referenced in the forum, which we have got on that slide next, about before they wanted a manager who would commit down here and they wanted to build around that manager. Was also noted previously or recently, and actually they allowed Tom to bring a few of his own key backroom staff, and I think that was equally important to sort of make sure that he could have the best start he could as the coach, and also that gives confidence, doesn't it, in the players that are looking to come down, that the club are committing to that setup. A few more firing in the comments. What's just a Jana just saying, evening mate. It was hilarious. All the kids surrounding Nance for autographs while Simon stood there and nobody recognised him. Well, he was asking for pocket money for investment. Did you not see our post? Oh, okay. Of course they're going to go for the young kids. I'm sure there were a few dads or older folk that were trying to get their photo with Simon. I'm sure. Spencer's in the chat. Evening, Spencer. The young lad that asked those 2 questions at the forum, which we're going to come on to in a second. Ben Collins is in the house tonight as well now. Evening, Ben. Why the music so loud when the players were training? Probably, who knows? Maybe they were testing out more of their new PA system, or they just didn't want to hear and leak any tactics. I doubt it. Ninja Matt confirming as well, the Bristol centre back. It's the Welsh. That's what the Celtic fans were saying, I think, with regards maybe to the shoulder injury. 6'2", Gav.
That's Roberts. So he's 175. That's 6'2". So
that was a noticeable thing on Saturday, wasn't it? Was our lack of height against Barnsley. And Zoo Corner saying, I was trying to avoid Simon. Wouldn't be able to keep my mouth shut. Each to their own. That's Carl putting a comment in. So PA system is a joke. So it's far too loud. Charlie Price did say that it was deafening and blowing his eardrums during testing. But there we go. That infrastructure investment that everybody loves. So So speaking of said infrastructure, moving on to the fans forum, there was a decent amount. Seeing Graham Burns comment, a decent amount of the training session, wasn't there, Carl, in terms of fans and that?
Yeah, it's a good turnout for the weather, but I just thought maybe the weather had a kind of a
impact.
The weather had I can't get my words out. An impact on the players staying out on the pitch too long if they need to be in for the signing session. So that's probably why we only saw a few first teamers for.
Yeah. Did Cleverley have a little bit of a session himself, like Rooney did? Or?
Yeah, he came out and did a few drills and did a few things with the boys and kind of was overseeing some of the drills that they were doing. I would have loved to have seen like a mic'd up Cleverley, like we saw on Argyle TV. That would have been quite fun to watch. Yeah, played on the PA system.
So yeah, we sort of didn't fit this in the last show because we were on for a while. We have got over 1,000 of you in now tonight, so that's awesome. Great turnout. So thank you everybody for that. I suppose I should just do a little plug for the show. So obviously those of you that are new, we're the Block 9 podcast. I'm sure a lot of you are in know that have seen us many times. Go check us out. This is our Thursday night live lounge. We're back to that schedule in season now. 8:30 on a Thursday, where we take a bit more of a relaxed approach. We've had more time to digest the game. Of course, we were hoping to have some more signings and official signings, not just the rumours, but they seem to be strong for the centre back. But yes, this is what we bring you. We still do a bit of a slide deck, breaking down some of the analysis of the previous game and the lead up to the team that we're playing. And then Saturdays is where we go with it used to be Sunday, with our post-match analysis at 8:30 in the evening as well. So, get that raw emotion, which it certainly was last Saturday, and we can discuss that after the game. So Spencer saying best podcast in the country. Cheers, mate. Appreciate that. I've seen your little YouTube account as well. He's there as the Plymouth Argyle way. So he's trying to get himself going as well, which is great to see. Vale and Cardiff finished 0-0. Ben Collins saying, would everyone be up in arms as much if the club gave Bim the 9 shirt when he first came in? Don't know on that one, to be honest. It's interesting, isn't it? But yeah, so switching to the forum, myself, Carl and Andy were there. Gavin couldn't make it because he was trying to do his own investment deals as he does daily. But it would have been some maybe helpful advice to Simon. So yeah, I felt myself, there wasn't all the standout outtakes, things that are gonna, really people wanted to really see and hear to a degree. But I felt, sort of, Carl, I'll come to you first, but I felt that they answered the questions very well. You're never going to get the silliness that, with some of the questions that I'm sure got fired in to Charlie Price that we saw on X. The investment, Simon admitted, obviously got very far down the line and they pulled out because of, trying to get the evidence that the investor, was able to do what he said he was going to do, wasn't there. And he's very adamant about not, just giving it to anybody. I still sort of feel there's an element of where is he being too picky? We sort of touched upon that previously. But yeah, overall, Carl, I thought it was a pretty good session.
Yeah. Again, another good turnout. I know people say it's always the same old people that go. Well, that's because it's the people that want to go and put questions forward, not the ones that sit at home on their computers moaning and abusing people and not getting a ticket. Obviously, there's excuses, we live, 2 or 3 hours away or it's sold out. Well, of course, they're always sold out because there are popular events. If you plan ahead and get yourself a ticket, you can go and ask the difficult questions. That's not to say they're going to give you an in-depth answer because they probably wouldn't anyway. But yeah, I think it's clear to see that we're still in good hands. I think obviously Simon's alluded to he needs to kind of move the goalposts a little bit on his side to attract maybe investment because no one wants to take over and doing things exactly as Simon has run it the past countless years he's been here. So yeah, there needs to be some movement between them to come to some kind of deal, and it's good that we've got someone in the background to kind of help with that now, because clearly he's admitted that he's kind of run dry and he can't really put any more money in, which you can't blame the bloke for. He's put enough of his own money in now. It's now someone else's turn to do that. So if we can attract more investment in for the future, that would be great. Obviously, the whole thing about break-even FC has come out from the press conference. So I'm not sure what. I mean, Gavin would know probably a bit more about that than me personally, but I'm guessing that alludes to maybe the mistakes in hiring Rooney and Foster, and maybe the lack of TV money from last season. Maybe that's plugging some of the player sales of last season, potentially. Again, David Fox, again, I love how he comes across. I think he's very articulate in how he speaks and very honest. You can see he wants to be here and he loves the club, obviously being here before. And I think we've got the right man in charge of the transfers. It'd be nice to see Tom Randall, because we haven't seen much of him so far. So it'd be nice to see him at a next fans forum, so we can get a bit more from him on his roles. But no, I think thoroughly enjoyed it, and I still think we're going in the correct direction.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Gavin, I mean, what a crazy thing to try and want to make, a profit, eh? Isn't it easy running a business with loads of losses every year? I mean, that's sustainable, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I think where this has come from, we've had 2 years in the champ where I think the average club loses £500,000 to £1 million, I think a week or a month, but it's silly money. So what you end up with is ultra high net worth billionaire, normally owners in the champ, who are writing a quarterly check of seven figures to keep the business afloat. We aren't in that situation, and we won't be until Simon Others sells, or certainly sells a majority of his equity. So that's the first challenge, is that we're sort of benchmarking ourselves against clubs who are happy to lose £20 million plus a year, which Simon doesn't have £20 million to piss up the wall, quite frankly. He's always said we're going to be a sustainable club. I think that's a dirty word in some quarters of the club, which is kind of understandable. I think, wouldn't we all love a Abramovich type figure, or a sheikh from Saudi to come over and just keep writing off £20 million a year to sit 10th in the champ, where Mr. Hargreaves has done that for a long time at Bristol City, but we're not there, and we'll never be there. Does he want to make sure that the club's got infrastructure to make its own revenue? Yes, we've had that discussion on the previous pods, live lounges, on the investment piece. So is it wrong of him to want to break even? No, not really. He's said he's tapped out. I'm sure him and Jane have had many a Barney over what the next transfer of cash into the Plymouth Argyle Football Club Limited Company's coffers is going to be. I imagine she's pretty pissy, because I imagine that when they were growing up, she was the one at home spending long hours looking after the kids while he was off swanning around the world and making his investment business grow and grow and grow. And now all that money's frittering away on a football club. So I can't blame him. I have to say, I cannot blame him. I don't think for any way, shape or form he's done anything bad to the club. And we have to just realise we have to cut our cloth accordingly. If that means we stay a top 10 League One side until we get a new investor, so be it. If people don't like that, go and support someone else.
Yeah, I think just as Jana sort of, makes a good point. I mean, Simon could have easily just taken the first offer. We've said that when we mentioned this on numerous occasions, and Scarpa, but he hasn't. He wants the sustainability and security for Argyle, and taking his time to find the perfect candidate to carry on the ethos. He said there was about 70 odd people that they've spoken to, including those 2 Americans that had some association with Bale, who he said were like all super keen and had loads of money, and they're like, yeah, we've only just heard about Argyle like yesterday, man. Tell us a bit about it. And it's just like, yeah, no, we don't want that.
Impressive accent, that, Michael.
Thank you, Carl. But I think that it is difficult, because the abuse, that comes his way because of assumptions, because all these people. And look, I know we've got some that have strong views on it, as we know in the chat here, but it's like, it's very easy when it's not your money. And if it was your money, he said he's tapped out. He's not going to go and bankrupt himself to try and, sort the club out, because he's got to look after. He's worked hard to build up that money. But, I think there is a point where he probably does just have to, sort of relax a little bit on the requirement, because there's something that's going to be guaranteed with this. Whenever he does sell it, if the new owners do really well, it was like, well, there you go, just proves it, doesn't it? If Hallett put more money in, if it goes Pete Tong, he will also then get blamed for selling it to that person when he shouldn't have done. So he's not going to win, but it would be very easy for him just to say, do you know what? Don't need it anymore. He's how old is he? 70 something, Gav?
No, he's late 60s.
Late 60s. So it's just like he could go off and just properly enjoy his money. But his love and passion, as is Jane's, is for the club, and we have to be thankful of that. And I thought he alluded to some interesting, Marcus's favourite in our chat, but the infrastructure as it is with a few.
Didn't mention it though.
But the dilapidations on the ground and stuff like that, you've got to end up fixing and paying for some of these things, because there's areas of the ground that are wearing. So it's just, that's the nature of running a business. You've got all these additional costs. I think it's good that they are doing new stuff with the fans forum, and they managed to make some extra capacity. No, they're not going to yet fill in the corners unless that investment comes in, Folkestone Park, etc. So look, it's one of those things where you're not going to please everybody, are you? And I think I feel that we're in a good place. Just going back to the slide deck on we've covered a fair bit of it, to be fair. But the women's team development, as well, where we're supporting that, I think is great. As well to sort of see that. And I know a lot of those games will be kicking off and available on Sundays, is it, Gavin? I know
Sundays at home park normally.
So that I might take Sophie up. My son Ben is not interested in football. He's into his aviation, which is equally fascinating. So I might take Sophie up to watch a couple of those and just get out and about and get her to experience what it's like at Argyle. She's been a couple of times before, but she was about 6 then. Look, I think there's a lot to still be positive about. David Fox, I thought, came across really well. I know some have questioned, has he got the caliber, and is it his own lack of sort of experience that's causing a problem for these signings? But I mean, Andy, come on. I mean, he's been involved in a lot of player developments and loans and stuff. It's not, I don't think there's any questions. I think David's a really good fit for the club in that position.
I think he knows his stuff, doesn't he? He's got the experience. He's been at high levels with Clevs, at Man United. I think their paths crossed at Man United, so they know the scene up there. They know the scene in football. They're going to bring the right player in. They're not going to just bring in any old willy-nilly in just to say, right, we've got a number 9 in, but he might be a flop. Huddersfield did the same as that. Last season, brought in 2 players and didn't score many goals between them. So it's like, why have that? Why sort of put that pressure on your manager for a start, just to please the fans? You've got to bring the right player in who wants to play for the badge.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Sorry, the other thing just to be considered there for all those that are saying, oh, what about? Stuart Webber's still involved in the club as a consultant and as a direct mentor to Foxy, who is one of the best sporting directors in the country and has got a great CV, and also did the whole recruitment piece about TC. So it's not as if he's left to just, find a manual and do this job on the hoof. He's got a very experienced mentor in the background who's doing a really good job.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's a good point, Gavin. Wow, we are an hour and a half, give or take, that countdown. Yes. It's been a pretty good show. So just going to end with, let me go back to that slide, what's happening next. Obviously we've got the Bolton game. So just as a reminder, we'll be live at 8:30. Definitely have myself, Gavin and Andy on that one. Carl will be travelling back, and we'll have a couple of others in, no doubt, as well, to keep you all company. Obviously, new merch. It's sort of, I started to make progress. Let me just, actually, it reminds me. So let me just bring this up, because I said to him I would do this, and if I've got it, where is it to? Andy Prowse sporting his lovely new Block 9 mug.
That is some blue steel pose as well, Andy. I love that, mate.
So delivered to him today, freshly made the day before. Actually, I didn't share this design with the guys in the group. So the one I've got here, if I just show it up to camera, has the green text and the white podcast, whereas I used the white one on that one, and it came out looking really good. And Andy's like, "Yes, definitely have that one." So, so there we go. He's got his Block 9 mug. I will get these new ones up on the site. And like I said, for those that wish to order them, it helps go towards what we're doing. I enjoy designing them. I'm sure, and I think, and I believe that the wife enjoys getting on them.
She will enjoy it. She will.
So, well, it's using all the tools that she's got, and you know, sort of, yeah. So we design, print, and put these on the mug in-house. We don't use a third party because we do have the kit for that. And yes, the merchandise, Stephen, I know isn't watching tonight by the looks of it. I would like him to get in touch. So if he is listening later, drop me a note. But yeah, I will get that. I've got nothing on tonight, but I will look at some of the merch kits and sort that out. It just all takes time with a busy day job as well. So photo shoots available. Andy's saying £2.75 an hour. So yeah, but he's enjoying that, which is good to see. Oh, let me go back to that slide. Zoo has disappeared. I put in the chat, where's Zoo gone? But he's gone quiet since we started talking positively about the forum. Bless. But yeah, it's good to have his banter in. The website, so we have, or I have sort of tweaked and made some changes on there. I've also got on Finley's PAFC News Hubs linked to his Substack on there as well. This is, let me just go back to it because we did it at the start, just a reminder. So this is where he is, as he says there, 16-year-old journalist, and he's trying to put out all his match preview summaries, transfers, etc. And he partners up with us, with me, doing the Argyle Weekly News Digest, which tends to go out either late Tuesday or early Wednesday, using the AI tools, and we take the news and wrap that up into me speaking in my AI voice, and Emma, who's also watching tonight, in her strange accent. But it's all good fun. It's just a different way of bringing you content, so that's good. But check out the website. We're looking to do more on that. I've started to build the new game. For those that know, we had the Championship Challenge, or whatever it was, Clash, which Ninja Matt and Andy desperately tried to outdo each other on. I've got a really good concept for a game, and anyone that's in the know with AI, with OpenAI releasing ChatGPT 5 tonight, I think I'm going to come up with something really cool, and I hope it comes off. So I was doing some work on it before going live tonight. So it's all good fun. It's all good fun. And also spread the word for us, folks. Let everybody know. If you enjoy what you've seen tonight, if you're new or regulars, then we appreciate every share, follow, retweet, mention as well. And as Andy has done on his X account, unless he's changed it recently, he's now called himself the Block 9 groupie. Take that as you will.
but we don't like to flex. We don't like to.
So yeah, exactly.
That,
just as Jana was saying about the women's football, we touched upon being a season ticket holder for the women's for both seasons. Awesome. And also what we got, that's it from the bottom there. So wow, I'm just checking. There's nothing else. We missed the T-shirt. If the winner of the T-shirt or the signed Argyle kit that we did as a competition is watching in tonight or listening in, Gavin has not forgotten. He is going to get that over to you.
It's going in the post tomorrow. Sorry. Busy.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Ian's comment there. Look, it's all good fun and banter at the end of the day, and that was fun earlier on in the week. That was Carl. So you never.
If we could get some sponsorship with Pop,
that's your caravan. You know, so other sports drinks are available until they sponsor us. Just saying. So yeah, look. Any final words from you, Gavin?
He is looking forward to a really good win on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely, Carl.
I just want to see a better defensive performance. I think we'll be okay going forward on the pitch, especially if you've got Pepo available. I think he's going to be a real focal point in our attack. Because he's quite a big bloke, so I hopefully want to see the ball sticking to him, which will then release Amici and Watts and Mumba forward more. I'm hopeful we can pick up a point if we can. I think a win would be ecstatic, but I think Bolton might be
fair
a little
enough.
bit
And
too
Andy,
strong.
your final thoughts of the evening?
Yeah, let's just go and pinch a point on Saturday, give a good display of ourselves, and make sure that we come back, with a bit of sort of buoyancy to take into the next game. That's all we can ask for, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've been buzzing all week to just there's nothing better than just getting back out there and making amends for what happened on Saturday. So thank you, everybody, for joining us just over 1100 tonight. It is an honour to be able to do that with you all and have you on. So look, enjoy the rest of your week. My holiday annual leave will start after tomorrow, but I will be there for the Saturday game. I'm going to go to the QPR one as well. But then after that, the guys have got to mix it up while I'm absent.
Then it's all going to go to shit.
So anyway, we'll pick up further on that on Saturday. But yeah, thanks everybody and enjoy the rest of your